building an innovative nation of industry. By establishing platforms
Recording
for
in
research
progress.
and development centers designed as integrated facilities. Empowering every industrial key player and technical provider through innovative technology. And re-optimizing investor-friendly regulations and policies nationwide as part of the roadmap Making Indonesia 4.0. All of this were made in order to cement Indonesia's position as one of the leading nations in the fourth industrial revolution. Indonesia for Dubai Expo 2021, creating the future from Indonesia to the world.
Throughout history, Indonesia has always been building collaborations across the world. Furthermore, in this modern world era, Indonesia is regarded as one of the major partners in the world economy. Expected to be in the top 10 world's leading economy, Indonesia has so many things to offer. From its abundant natural resources to its skilled human resources. With the link and match vocational programs from the government, Indonesia will be filled with competent, adaptive, and innovative human resources that are in accordance with the needs of the 4.0 industry. Therefore, many worldwide economists predicted that its demographic bonus in 2030 to 2040 will rapidly boost Indonesia economically. Moreover, Indonesia is constantly improving its investment climate, which is complemented by advanced investment features. These features not only provide convenience, but also come up with various benefits for investors. It is also proven that despite the pandemic, the realization of foreign investment is convincingly increasing.
As an investment destination, NIPRO sees Indonesia as one of the countries that has a good investment climate. We thank the Indonesian government for making policies that make it easier for us to invest here.
Indonesia has proven its ability to overcome economic problems in difficult times. As a company and investor, Nissan has no hesitation to bring this partnership even further to our bright future ahead.
Indonesia provides a favorable environment for the Nestlé business to grow. We are a long-term investor and are committed to creating sustainable value along our value chain.
2021 will open the world industry's view of Indonesia's great potential, as has been illustrated by tagline Connect to Accelerate. Synergy and collaboration across stakeholders will accelerate the implementation of digital transformation.
Indonesia for Dubai Expo 2021, creating the future from Indonesia to the world.
A place with abundant and rich natural resources. A nation where you can find even richer and diverse cultures. Indonesia is a nation with enormous potential. Bound to be the top 10 biggest economies in the world, Indonesia has grown to be one of the most desired investment destinations in the world. Populated with hardworking, talented and young people, Indonesia is filled with educated and productive workforce. In order to sustain that productivity,
nggak apa-apa. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My peace be upon us. Welcome to Indonesia Pavilion in Dubai EXPO 2020. First of all, I would like to thank everyone in this room for joining us today in Indonesia Business Forum held by the Ministry of Industry of the Republic of Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to the next program, I would like to invite all of you to stand to the national anthem, Indonesia Raya. To all distinguished guests, please stand up. Ladies and gentlemen, you may take your seat. Thank you. Before we begin, with much honor, I would like to call upon Mr. Dodi Widodo as the Secretary General of Ministry of Industry of the Republic of Indonesia. Also to Mr. Cahyo Purnomo, Director of Exhibition and Promotion Media, Ministry of Investment, as well as Indonesia Investment Coordinating Board. To Mrs. Iken Retnowulan, Director of Access of Industrial Resources and International Promotion, Ministry of Industry of the Republic of Indonesia. Mr. Daniel Suryananta as the Director of PT Akobono Braik Astra Indonesia, and to all distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, on today's topic in Indonesia Business Forum that is held by the Ministry of Industry of the Republic of Indonesia is your reliable investment partner. In this occasion, we also have one-on-one meeting program, which will be a great opportunity to interact with your choice or desired companies that we have for today. So please do not leave the meeting after the question and answer session, as it will continue with one-on-one meeting. Let's begin today's session with a presentation by Mr. Dodi Widodo as the Secretary General of Ministry of Investment, Republic of Indonesia, that will be talking about Roadmap Making Indonesia 4.0. Good afternoon, Mr. Dodi Widodo.
Good afternoon, everybody.
To Mr. Dodi Widodo, you may start your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. His Excellency Mr. Husin Bagis, Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to United Arab Emirates. His Excellency Mr. Chandra Negara, Consulate General of the Republic of Indonesia in Dubai. Honorable Representative of Ministry of Investment BKPM Republic of Indonesia, Honorable Representative of GEO, Business Leader PT Akibono Break Astra Indonesia. In here I heard Mr. Dandi Suryananta, PT Garuda Metalindo Tbk, PT Astra Component Indonesia, and the representative of industrial company in Indonesia and United Arab Emirates. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. May peace be upon us of all. First of all, let us express our gratitude to God Almighty because of His abundance of grace and gift that on this wonderful afternoon we can gather online at the Business Forum World EXPO Dubai 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, the prime mover for Indonesia's economic growth up to the second quarter of 2021 remains the non-oil and gas processing industry. In general, the non-oil and gas processing industry sector growth within the second quarter of 2021 has increased quite significantly by 6.91%. There are three industries that provide the largest growth, namely the transportation equipment industry with 45.70 billion US dollar, base metal industry of 18.03 billion US dollar, and the machinery and equipment industry of 16.35 billion US dollar. This number is in line with 7.07% of national economic growth, with the contribution of the non-oil and gas processing industry to gross domestic product. All we know, GDP is 70.34%. Compared to the other economic sector, this figure is higher. Furthermore, as recorded in January to September 2021, export from the industrial sector have contributed to national export at 77.72% or 127.69 billion US dollar, with total national export of 164.29 billion US dollar, and they referred a surplus balance of 16.70 billion US dollars. Among others, there are three industries that provide the largest value, namely food and beverage industry with 32.52 billion US dollar, base metal industry of 22.37 billion US dollar, and the chemical, pharmaceutical, and traditional medicine industry of 14.27 billion US dollar. Ladies and gentlemen, in the last of 8 months since November 2020, Indonesia Manufacturing Purchasing Manager Index, we know all the famous known is PMI, is at an expensive level which is above 50. With its position as of June 2021 is at 53.5. This data shows maintained optimism in the industrial sectors. Although the manufacturing PMI was once contracted to a level of 40.1 and 43.7 in July and August, due to the impact of restriction on mobility and industrial operation during the emergency period with the term of PPKM. However, in September 2021, Indonesia PMI position had risen to 52.5. This figure indicates the return of optimism in Indonesian manufacturing sector. Ladies and gentlemen, as initiative to accelerate industrial development, into an industrial era for 4.0. The Indonesian government has launched Making Indonesia 4.0 program, with its main target is to make Indonesia as one of the 10 largest economic countries in the world by 2030. To achieve the main target, there are three main aspirations, namely 10% contribution of net export to GDP, double increase in productivity compared to its cost, and 2% of expenditure on research and development to GDP. The government believes that with a successful implementation of Making Indonesia 4.0 program, it will also encourage a real GDP growth around 1 till 2% per year. Moreover, in 2018 to 2030, the GDP growth per year will increase from the baseline of 5% to 6 till 7%. In addition, the implementation of Industry 4.0 will also support an increase in employment workfield from 20 million to 30 million jobs in 2030, as well as in manufacturing contribution to GDP from 16% to 25% in the same years. Regarding the implementation of Making Indonesia 4.0 program, it is implemented by 10 national priority agenda as follows. 1. Improvement of material flow procedure. Second, redesigning of industrial zones like kawasan industry. Third, accommodation of sustainable standard like standard SNE. Empowerment of MSMEs. 5. Building national digital infrastructure like PD maybe. 6. Attracting to foreign investment, how to make the foreign investment came in Indonesia. Improving the quality of human resources. 8. Establishing innovation ecosystem. 9. Implementing incentive on technology investment. We already give super deduction tax. And 10. Harmonization of regulation and policy. To support the implementation that is mentioned above, we have prepared 7 industrial sectors as main focus in Making Indonesia 4.0, namely the food and beverage, textile and fashion industry, automotive, chemical industry, electronic industry, and we add to the new industry, pharmaceutical industry and the medical device industry, because we have experience to handle the pandemic. So we give addition to sectors. These 7 sectors are expected to contribute 70% of total manufacturing GDP, 65% of manufacturing export, and 60% of industrial labor. We have prepared some target from 7 industrial sector development plan. 1. Food and beverage, founding as an Asian food and beverage powerhouse. 2nd, textile and apparel, become a leading functional clothing producer. 3rd, electronic, nurturing highly capable domestic champion. 4th, automotive, as establishing export leadership in ICE and electric vehicle. 5th, chemical, developing leading biochemical manufacturing. 6th, pharmaceutical, deepening of the pharmaceutical industry structure, especially like raw material. We can try to boost our capacity in our country. 7. Medical device, technology transfer and availability of local medical grade material. Ladies and gentlemen, since the official launch of Making Indonesia 4.2 2018, Indonesia has tried to implement Industry 4.0 to the manufacturing industry sector through various efforts as follows. Indonesia Industry 4.0 Readiness Index program we called like Indy 4.0 to provide readiness and assistance to manufacturing industry company in implementing Industry 4.0. The process is carried out through the preparation of document, training, implementation of assessment, pilot project of key Industry 4.0 technology to monitoring and evaluations. Indy 4.0 consists of 5 pillars, namely management and organization, people and culture, product and services, technology and factory operation. The level in Indy 4.0 start from level of 0, which means it's not ready to transform into Industry 4.0. Level 1 of the industry is still at the initial readiness stage. Level 2 is the industry at the medium readiness stage. Level 3, the industry is at the mature readiness state. And the level 4 indicate the industry has implemented Industry 4.0. Until now, there are 775 industrial companies have conducted self-assessment of Indy 4.0 online through the CINAS National Industrial Information System. In general, the manufacturing industry in Indonesia is in a position of medium readiness level 2 to transfer toward Industry 4.0. Appointment of lighthouse industry implementation 4.0 in Indonesia, namely, first, PT Schneider Electric Manufacturing Batam, which can be a role model for other industry to carry our digital transformation into Industry 4.0. Schneider Electric was appointed because it has experience and competence in establishing smart factory facilities and digital transformation journey. In addition to the appointment of industry lighthouse in Indonesia, internationally there are 2 Indonesian companies selected to become global lighthouse by the World Economic Forum. The 2 companies chosen are Schneider Electric and Petrosi. This shows that Indonesia is ready to implement Industry 4.0. The Ministry of Industry has also designed several companies in the country as Lighthouse 4.0. These companies are considered superior in their sector in implementing industrial technology 4.0 in 2020, including PT Akebono Brake Asta Indonesia, PT Pupuk Kalimantan Timur, as well as PT Indolaktor Purwosari. They are used as example in digital transformation and the application of technology 4.0. These companies are considered worthy of being role models for industry players in their sectors and can become government dialogue partner in the implementation of Industry 4.0 in Indonesia. In addition, Indonesia has also participated as an official partner country at the Digital India edition of Hannover Messe 2021 and will continue to be the official partner for Hannover Messe in 2023. In these events, Indonesia will prepare the Indonesian Digital Industrial Center, we call PD 4.0, as a benchmark for the MI Showcase 4.0 of the various countries and industrial sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, development of the Center of Digital Industry 4.0, PD 4.0, which will provide 5 service pillars, and we call A. Showcase Center to increase awareness through industry model companies 4.0. B. Capability Center to build industry capability of 4.0 for manufacturing industry companies. C. Ecosystem Industry 4.0 to connect all Industry 4.0 stakeholders. D. Delivery Center to assist company in adopting Industry 4.0. And the last, E. Innovation Center to bring research and technology validation testing. The Center of Digital Industry 4.0, PD 4.0, which will be provided at the Center for Industrial HR, human resource innovation and development is targeted to provide showcase services to more than 7,000 companies, training industry skill 4.0 to more than 400,000 workers, facilitating cooperation with up to 200 business partners, increasing business capacity scaling up of more than 2,000 companies, and give birth to new innovation of 40 till 90 projects. Ladies and gentlemen, to prepare small and medium industries, small medium, and we call SMI, to adopt digital technology in the Ministry of Industry. First, a smart SMI training. A smart SMI is a smart SMI database system that is presented in the industry profile of center and product, which is integrated with existing digital marketplace to improve the digital market of SMIs. In 2021, onboarding training for the product made in Indonesia, smart has been carried out with a total of 1,790 IKMs onboarding. Second, Smart Centra, an application that aims to facilitate the SMART Center coaching program. In this application, there are center profiles, study rooms, partnership opportunity with SMART Center. Third, Smart Material Center, a cloud computing-based material centers management information system that make it easier for buyers, suppliers, and SMEs in the flow of data, information related to raw materials to product delivery. Fourth, Smart Packaging Center, where SMEs are assisted in the development of the packaging designs that are more efficient, creative, and competitive. And fifth, Start Up for Industry, integrated SMEs actor with the use of technology so that they become modern, small and medium that can increase productivity and quality. In order to encourage the growth of the digital economy, the government is working with all relevant stakeholders trying to foster the birth of digital-based startup, support them to become a unicorn, and target Indonesia to become the largest digital economic power in Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, as a closing of my remark in this forum, I hope that making Indonesia Fund 4.0 can be realized and successful as a driver of national economic and industry. We invite business people and investors to collaborate and participate in development of Industry 4.0 to become a world-class business in Indonesia. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Secretary General of Ministry of Industry of Republic Indonesia. And now, next presentation will be delivered by Director of Exhibition and Promotion Media, Ministry of Investment, as well as BKPM Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Cahyo Purnomo, with the main topic of Invest in Indonesia. Please welcome Mr. Cahyo Purnomo. Good morning, Mr. Cahyo Purnomo.
Good morning.
So to Mr. Cahyo Purnomo, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished people, distinguished business people, good morning and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let me take this opportunity to say that how grateful I am. It is indeed a pleasure for me to be here to discuss Indonesia's investment opportunities and to see the possibility of collaboration between Indonesia and UAE. And I think it is time for us, to take the relation between two countries to the next level. I'll be speaking in the next 10 minutes on 5 main issues on why Indonesia is an attractive investment destination, followed by our investment performance. And next, I'll be also speaking about some or a number of priority sectors in the country. Then I also will be speaking on a number of challenges, and then last but not least, I will speak about potential investment location. I think it's important for us to begin this presentation with how do we see the investment trends and prospects. And it is also, I think, quite interesting to note the report published by the UNCTAD on their annual report by the name of the World Investment Report. They see, and I think we can feel this, that the global flow of FDI throughout the world, all over the world, have been hit hard by the pandemic, affected not only developed countries, but also developing countries as well. And that's why we see the number of, the global FDIs went down 1/3 to about $1 trillion. And this is also, negatively impacted on the most productive type of investment, which is the greenfield investment in industrial and infrastructure project. And when we see this as part of the, international production, we see the global economic growth, and development have been seriously affected. And that's why we see a number of countries, they have been issuing and introducing restrictive investment measures. Thanks God, this is not our case, because, alhamdulillah, we've been able to somehow manage the negative impact of the pandemic, and I will discuss this later on in my slide. We know that there are a number of keys that we can pursue, to recover slightly or fully from the pandemic. We know that, the government spending or expenditure is important, including in a country like Indonesia. We know that domestic consumption in Indonesia, which plays an important role with more than 56%. That's the key. But what is also important is, the role of export and investment. It has been mentioned by Pak Sekjen, Mr. Secretary General previously. Our exports, have been quite encouraging, and we are also on track when it comes to our investment performance. We are halfway through, and I think we'll be able to exceed our target by the end of this year. And a number of things that make Indonesia a great potential for investment is when we see this and we take, if you see the big picture, as Indonesia is the world's most fourth populous country in the world. So last year, during the last census, we recorded about 270 million people, and the working age, and this is the beauty of our number, more than 70% belongs to the what we call as productive age. The working age, from 15 to 64, it's in the demographic bonus or demographic dividend. That's why when we see this, we know that Indonesia offers not only market, for any time of investment, but we see also it supplies all the all the workers, and it offers also competitive workforce in the country. And the middle class also have been growing very fast, thanks to a number of factors, including a stable investment climate in the country, a stable political and things, including the security as well. And when we see, this number, it is also important to note that more than 50% of our people belongs to what we call as millennials, youthful, so many young people. And it offers, of course, not only, again, the market, but also the constant rising middle class. And I think it is also important for us to see that when we put Indonesia in the context of, regional grouping by the name of the ASEAN, for instance, if we put ASEAN as a single market, we know that ASEAN is the fourth largest market in the world after China, India, and the European Union. And when we see Indonesia as, at the heart of ASEAN, we see that once you enter Indonesia, you can expand your business, not only to our neighboring countries, but you can also reach the broader network of ASEAN. And this is why we sign a number of free trade agreements, including comprehensive economic partnership with our partners. And it is also important, when we see this through the investment treaty networks, where Indonesia, we sign many bilateral investment treaties. Now, currently, at least 23 countries or 23 BITs are effective. And I think some of you are familiar or, know that we've been, discussing with the UAE, and we have started the negotiation on Indonesia-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. And this is the first CEPA with Middle East countries. It plays, the importance of UAE in Indonesia, and also the importance of Indonesia to the UAE business people, because we want to really, take the relations to the next level. And we also, sign, and the tax treaty between two countries have been ratified. And in overall, Indonesia, we have close to 70% tax treaty around the world. So it gives you a clear picture that Indonesia really well connected to the global market. And what is also important is the intellectual property. In Indonesia, as Indonesia, is part of WTO and all the regional groupings, we, of course, we have a commitment to really address this issue under the, many agreements. So again, on this investment treaty networks, it is the intention of our government, where we invite foreign investment to have a presence in Indonesia, either in Java or outside Java. So by doing this, you will be able to access the regional market and the international market as well. And now let me also take this opportunity to brief you our investment performance from the first semester this year. Alhamdulillah, we've been able to achieve close to 50% of our target, which is roughly about $30.4 billion US. When you see the number of the domestic and foreign direct investment, they play both important role, while the role of the FDI is slightly bigger. And when you see, if we put this in the overall context, yes, the top 5, biggest investors are not from the Middle East, but we want to invite UAE to really be our partner. Now they are on the 26th rank, and I think, we see a good progress. We've been discussing a number of initiatives and plans, and I think we are on track to perhaps double, triple, or even quadruple this number. And let me also, brief you that from the UAE, there are a number of successful investors in UAE. And I think one of the most famous one, as we all know, is Lulu. Lulu came to Jakarta almost 10 years ago, and they have now a number of outlets, and they keep expanding. And let me, quote the statement from the Mr. Abdullah Yusuf Ali, the chairman of Lulu. Can I have the volume? Even though we cannot hear him, but we know from the subtitle that Mr. Yusuf Ali is very generous when it comes to convincing the business people in putting Indonesia as a attractive investment destination. Let me continue my presentation, and I think let me also touch a bit about the investment priority sectors to complement the earlier presentation made by Mr. Secretary General. The Secretary General earlier mentioned a number of sectors, supporting making Indonesia 4.0. And this is also, in our case, when we want to attract and focus on a number of sectors, not only the labor-intensive industries such as, textile apparel, but also the capital-intensive industry, the pharmaceutical industry and medical devices, the automotive sectors, electronic, and so on and so forth. It is also the intention of our government to invite investment on the infrastructure sector, not only on the toll road or power generation, but also on the renewable energy and so on and so forth. And last but not least is also on the mining. We are blessed as a country with rich mineral resources, and we want to process these resources. We want to do some, midstream and downstream. And by inviting foreign investor, this is the way that we can collaborate and work together to really benefit the Indonesia and the foreign investor. And I think, before concluding my remarks, let me say a few words about the game changer that we are having currently by the name of the Omnibus Law on Job Creation. Why this is important? Because for the very first time ever, almost, since our independence in 1945, we have never had any major reform like Omnibus Law. That's why when we wanted to address the investment issues, we did this by revising close to 79 laws, sectoral laws, which are contradicting, which are not favorable to foreign investment and domestic investment. By simplifying this, by putting this and addressing this in a single law by the name of the Omnibus Law on Job Creation. This law offers not only 11 key clusters, like improvement of the investment ecosystem and business activities, but also other important issues like employment, the economic zones, we call it ease of doing business, and so on and so forth. As this is our classical, issues, and we see many foreign investors are complaining about these classical issues earlier. And this is why our president has made it loud and clear that if Indonesia wanted to change this law one by one, it will take 50 years. That's why by doing this, by simplifying this in one single omnibus law, we will be able, to make our economy more competitive. We will be able to transfer our economy, not only, depending on let's say our natural resources, but also doing, things which are needed to transfer our economy. And this is also part of, our intention to be address the issue of, for instance, the corruption perception index, because again, many people, have been complaining about the issue of corruptions and also the hyper regulation, which hamper our investment effort. And through this law, the sectoral ego between all ministries, all government agencies are addressed in a timely manner, and we are optimistic that it will, at the end of the day, improve our investment climate. It will also harmonize, the government not only at the central level but also at the local level, and will be also able to minimize and prevent the practice of, corruptions, things like that. Hopefully will be no longer an issue. And again, now we are in the final stage of the implementation of this law. And what I can tell you also is, the way we shift our paradigm, our way of thinking, because, in the past, we used to approach all the things, from the licensing approach. Whenever a business is coming, the first question is, do you have, required license to run your business? And now, the licensings are only required only for certain risk, which is the middle risk and high risk, meaning that all the activities are integrated and simplified under one basic license. And the online single submission, or the OSS, will be a single platform used at the central level, at the local level, where this system, will integrate all the existing system, not only when it comes to building permits or environmental permit, but any other permits. And this is the most ambitious one. And I can say that we are now on track to, achieve this target. And the next thing that I want to highlight is also, the simplification of investment requirements by having more and more list of priority business fields. Earlier, we introduced list of closed business fields, which is not promotive, which may not sounds good to some foreign investor. That's why now we promote and introducing close to 250 business fields, which can be considered as a priority business field. And the thing is also clear that through this single arrangement, we'll be able to address the issue of overlappings and hyper regulation. And another issue that is important for you, for business people, ladies and gentlemen, it's also the fiscal term in Indonesia. The investment incentive, we know, is important for an investor. And Indonesia is known, compared to other countries, as we offer generous investment incentive. Now the government, tried to decrease the corporate income tax, from 25% last year to 22%, and will be maintained at this number. Actually, we wanted this to be even lower. But, again, the discussion in our parliament has made it clear that we will keep the number, at the 22%. In addition to this, Indonesia is also offers a number of tax incentives like tax holiday, tax allowance, and so on and so forth. To conclude, let me say a few words. at the head of the trade war between, the two most powerful countries in the world, the US and China. Many companies, are leaving China. They left China. They tried to find, a new investment destination. So they went to Vietnam, they went to Thailand, and some other countries. And our president was not happy about this. So he formed a special task force, and he asked our minister to really address this issue. And through a comprehensive effort, we approach this on a case-by-case basis, where we offer certain supports and incentive. Alhamdulillah, we've been able at the end of the day to attract 7 companies from Japan, from Korea, from Taiwan, with the total investment commitment almost, about $850 million US. And this number keeps, growing. And we see, for instance, last June, we see where one of the, largest glass company from Korea, they did, the groundbreaking. And this, again, send a clear message that Indonesia is doing whatever it takes to make Indonesia as a favorable investment climate. And, as Indonesia, is a relatively big country, you see, there are many rewarding investment destinations, not only on our special economic zones or our free trade zones, but also, on the industrial estates, and also for the tourism. We have what we call 10 New Bali. So if you go, at the bottom of the map, Java, the most densely island in Indonesia, where 60% of our people live there, you see, most industrial or beneficial activities are based there. But when you go, to the most eastern part of Indonesia, you see many mining activities are taking place. And when you go to the, western part of Indonesia, you see many plantation business are taking place. So this really complement each other. And to conclude, let me tell you one success story that we have now. Again, at the head of the trade war, we were asked by many companies why Indonesia is quite high when it comes to land price or land lease or things like that. Now we come up with, Batang Integrated Industrial Park, as we believe it offers not only unparalleled access to, let's say, to the seaport or airports or the market, but it really, offers a competitive price for your future investment destination. And this is where, Nestle, for instance, one of the Switzerland F&B companies, they just did their expansion projects in this location, and many other companies. I will not, elaborate more because I think this is the end of my presentation, and I'll be happy to take questions, questions from you later on. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for your insightful presentation, Mr. Cahyo Purnomo. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite our very last but not least presentation for today's business forum from Mr. Daniel Suryananta as the Director of PT Akebono Break Astra Indonesia. The topic that will be delivered is why Indonesia is chosen as investment partner. Good afternoon, Mr. Daniel Suryananta.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Daniel Suryananta, you may start your presentation.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon and stay healthy for everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, may I have presentation? Okay, thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time to listen to our story at Dubai Expo 2021 in this event. We would like to share a brief story of our transformation journey to be Industry 4.0. Next. Yeah. Our company name is PT Akebono Brick Astra Indonesia, located in Jakarta, the capital city of Indonesia. We produce brick components supply to all car makers in Indonesia, and our share 68% of our product used for Indonesia car producers. Established as local company, name was PT Tridharma Wisesa. Now, PT Akebono Brick Astra Indonesia was joint venture company between Akebono Brick Industry Japan and Astra Auto Parts Indonesia. Our products are brick components for vehicle and motorcycle, and original spare parts. Aftermarket for brick pipe and lining. After this presentation, in the 101 meeting, we will also invite Astra Auto Parts, our mother company, as well as the main automotive components seller in Indonesia. Next. Yeah, as Indonesia company, we have dreamed to be global company. Therefore, in 2007, we have launched Wonderful Company as our program. We have 3 pillars for this activity, such as wonderful plant, wonderful office, and wonderful people. We started with restructuring the factory to implement good lean manufacturing. However, in 2017, we made a reflection of our program. We think it was not enough to reach our dream due to changing the need of the industry. The competition is fierce and fast. We need additional activity like adopting new technology, the Internet of Things, and the connectivity. Integration of both pillars, we are optimistic to reach a dream is possible. Next. Another good news come on April 4, 2018, that the Indonesian government launched the program Making Indonesia 4.0. It means that the industry sector in Indonesia will be soon transformed into Industry 4.0 era. Government determined 5 focus sector industry at that time, and now becomes 7 sector industry to implementing Making Indonesia 4.0. And one of sector is automotive. Astra International is company selected in this sector. Since the president of Astra International welcomed the program and officially declared on the president letter guidance. Next. The PT Akebono Brick Astra Indonesia firm to put the company direction to moving toward Industry 4.0. Next, upskilling and rescaling the people competency and to bring the benefit for future expansion. Next. Yeah, we made a blueprint or roadmap to achieve our goal to transform Industry 4.0 in the new factory in 2025. We started from smart office, traceability, and administration change from manual approval to digital approval, and make step-by-step activity to reach our target in 2025. Pandemic situation make our activity slower and some activity with postponing, but we still keep review and PDCA to continue moving toward to our goal. We decide AAJ 4.0 goal as key performance indicator for company. For this transformation, we have 6 goals such as quality improvement, increased productivity, real-time monitoring, quick action based on real-time, increase work to be added value, eliminate waste, reduce lead time, and inventory. Next. So we built a task force from each department to work together to make digital transformation in each production line. Why does the task force matter? Because they are users, especially in the production. They know well what the problem happened on the shop floor and how IoT technology can help to solve the problem. So they will propose and build strong teamwork to start development. They will feel motivated since the performance area is their responsibility. IT in this case, role and responsibility just like border to protect security system and make integration to our system. Another benefit we obtain from this project with the task force gaining motivation from user or employee because their idea can implement it by themselves, communicate with each other, work together with outside as ecosystem in the industry, like scholarship, vocation, and university as internship program, and transformation team as one teamwork, and of course, review by top management periodically. Next. Yeah, here is our picture, and when top management join to review digitalization and transformation in our company and give guidance to new target from its activity. Next. Yeah, we need collaboration with both IT and engineering competence, working together as teammates to establish smart facility or equipment. They cannot work separately, but need collaboration. IT member must know engineering knowledge, and same as engineer must know IT knowledge. They must work together as a collaboration team. So that's why, next, we make IoT lab, a place for them to work together. In this hub, we make simulation and discussion about which technology can help us to solve our problem or improvement. Next, what the challenge? We divide our challenge into technical and non-technical. In technical portion, we found limited expertise because Industry 4.0 is new for us. We have old machines which need modified to be smart, and infrastructure. Well, in the non-technical, we concern about people, resistance to change, silo mentality. How we can adapt and use technology to help us, our work need time and special program to development people. The biggest challenge we think in this STEM is maintaining what we already built. We learn from Industry 4.0 that horizontal and vertical data is very important to collect all data from shop floor operation, from customer, internal, supplier, and big data use integration to vertical. So in this target, our target is top management can easily describe our company performance in real time and make quick action. We have big activity like smart production, smart maintenance, smart quality, and smart inventory to collaborate by manufacturing information system, which we need data from horizontal to collaboration with activity and finally record on our system by QAD. This company managed by combining local management and Japanese. Our partner believe that Indonesia is big country with big market, great people, economic still growth, and Indonesia can follow trend of technology like Industry 4.0. Indonesia is worthy country for investment. Please come and join with us in here. Next. And that's all our journey story, and please enjoy our journey video. Please. very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Mr. Daniel Suryananta. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now entering the question and answer session. For those participating online, please write your question in the chat box, including your name and company name beforehand. We will start with the audience here with us first. And again, please mention your name and your company before you ask your question. We have gathered some questions from the audience. First question comes from Mr. Ali Mahmoud from Jebel Khaima Company to Mr. Cahyo Purnomo. The question is, Indonesia is one of investment destination country. How do you deal with the investment climate in Indonesia during the COVID-19 pandemic? And how do you guarantee legal certainty so that an investor can invest in Indonesia comfortably? To Mr. Cahyo Purnomo, you may answer the question.
Thank you. I think, again, it's clear that we've been hit hard by the pandemic, not only, in our economy in general, but also the investment in particular. And I think, as we can remember, early last year, when the pandemic hit for the very first time in March last year, during that, I think, first 3 difficult months, we experienced, among other, shortage on a number of, not only on our health products, medical devices, and things like that, but, at the time, many countries, they are introducing a number of trade measures, including investment measures. In Indonesia, gladly, we only issued trade measures only for the very, very first few months. And then after that, we tried to settle down and address this issue. And on the investment measures, I can tell you a story of my personal experience. About, I think that was in June or July last year. I was asked by a friend of mine who works for a Japanese company. He complained at the time he was unable to export his products because in the HS code, that products belongs to, banned items, which cannot be exported to any foreign countries. And then when we go deeper, we understand that the issue is mostly on the implementation, where the product was based on the wrong interpretation. And then at the time, we contacted our colleagues at the Minister of Industry, and then he made it clear the product, can be exported. And what he needed to have is only a piece of letter from us. So this is again our difficulties during the pandemic. And at the Ministry of Investment or BKPM, we are always ready. We stand guided. If business people are having difficult things, if they let's say have some difficulties, not only in getting, for instance, the raw materials or the required licensing and things like that, we'll be happy to help them. And we do this because we believe, those companies that are still operating during difficult times, during the pandemic, we have, to extend our support for them. We have to make sure that they can, run their business freely without interruption. And then on the second question, on the certainty issues, it's clear from our experience that, even though we have, for instance, when it comes to foreign investment, we have law, law 25, 2007 on investment. But again, we also know many complaints from foreign investors or domestic investors on the implementation of certain regulation. And again, the issue of law certainty and things like that, were asked. And I can say that, again, on the implementation, there might be some challenges at the lowest level because some of our, let's say, people may not really comprehend or understand the picture, the whole picture. And for this, we are always, in constant touch with them, with the local government, and with all the stakeholders, to make sure that the implementation, won't be a challenge in Indonesia. And the certainty, is there. Because it is clear whenever we issue certain laws and regulations, the dissemination is always there. The transparency issue also can be addressed this on our public consultation prior to the issuing of certain laws and regulation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your answer, Mr. Cahyo Purnomo. We also have another question from our audience here. And please mention your name and your company beforehand. Thank you very much.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Cahyo Purnomo. This is Alvaro Romero from Garay company from Spain. Good morning, and may peace be with you. My question is regarding the omnibus law. What is the objective in implementation of this omnibus law in terms of time? Because I guess it started recently, and what would be the objective on in terms of time to implement it finally? And for example, how long does it take to open a company in Indonesia? Also regarding the agreements Indonesia has with regional partners, we were concerned about what's the relationship with Indonesia in terms of agreement with China and India in order to export to those countries. And last question, I forgot, sorry.
Let me answer. Thank you for the questions. I think, let me put it this way. Yes, you're right. The omnibus law was, passed by our parliament last October. And then the challenge, was on government to issue the implementing regulation by the name of, we call it government regulation or peraturan pemerintah. More than 40 government regulations, have been issued by our government, followed by what we call as a presidential decree, But at the ministerial level, because the law itself, the omnibus law, covers at least 18 government agencies, ministry level, non-ministry or government agency. And each and every ministry, of course, they have to issue certain, decree to make the law, or to be implemented the law thoroughly and fully. And, one of the good thing about this law, I mentioned this earlier, previously, whatever you do, what you have to do in the beginning is to get the required license. Now, the license is still important, but this is only for the high-risk business field. You know, for the low risk or low medium risk, what you need to have is only what we call as a business registration, or we call it nomor induk berusaha, and this can be accessed automatically. All you need to have to do is just to open your browser, and you have to, of course, introduce yourself, and then in 5-10 minutes you can get the license for yourself. And of course, at a later stage, you can, if you are foreign companies, then you have to apply for other licenses from, let's say, on the company information, on the tax number, and so on and so forth. So this law will make your business even faster and easier. Initially, it may take a few weeks for you before you start your business. Now, within minutes, you can start your business. And then the second questions for you is, India and China, they are our partner countries. We have, as part of our regional grouping or regional cooperation, we have ASEAN-India Investment Agreement. We have ASEAN-India Free Trade Agreement. We have, ASEAN-China Free Trade Agreement and things like that. And now, under what we call as RCEP, the Regional Commercial Economic Partnership Agreement, all the 16 countries are under one umbrella except India, because India left the negotiation and they did not sign the agreement, at the final stage. But on this, I think it's important for you to know that we have no restrictions when it comes to, let's say, selling your products to India or China, or vice versa. You can also perhaps import some raw materials. For instance, our pharmaceutical industry, we import the raw material from China and from India, and this is again part of the business. I think I can answer that, but I'll be happy to take your question later on again if you have.
Okay. Sorry, I have another. Is it possible? I have another question for Mr. Daniel Suryanta from Astra. Is he there? No. From my experience in the automotive industry, is there European? Sorry, are there European companies, European automotive companies operating in Indonesia, or is mostly Japan-oriented auto parts companies? Because usually it's difficult to enter to these Japanese-oriented companies. Is the corporate culture is more difficult for European companies to cooperate.
Yeah, mainly the automotive in Indonesia, mainly from Japan, from Japan. But I think BMW, issue, and so on. Last time Ford, they come to Indonesia. But yeah, mainly Indonesia people like car easy to handling and easy to use, and so that's why Japan see this opportunity, and they offer like car like Kijang Innova or something, Avanza. This is very popular in Indonesia. But now Korea too already come to Indonesia, and from China is willing to invest in Indonesia. I think if European car will come to Indonesia, and make some simple car or something. And I think people will like the car. Yeah, like that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel, for your answer. And thank you for all the participants and the audience that has been actively participate in this session. We also have another question from our audience over here. And just before that, please mention your name and your company. You may deliver your question now.
I'm sorry, I walked in quite late. So I heard what you said about the ease of accessing Indonesian marketplace with setting up of companies and things like that. My name is Arjun Rao. I have a conservation business which is called Wild Earth Fund. We've been speaking with a whole lot of ERC managers in Borneo, essentially, to see how we could raise funds from the international market to support their activities in rainforest conservation and the various wildlife that are on the critically endangered list. A few weeks ago, I was told by my advisors in Jakarta that the code for getting into ERCs under the PMA registration, the code wasn't there at all to allow us to apply for these ERC leases. Earlier this week, they told me that it has now been included once again under the high-risk category, but there was no clarity on what the restrictions were and what is actually going to be allowed under the ERC functionality, as it were. I wanted to ask you, after hearing what you said about the ease of setting up over there, will there be clarity on this in the near future? And does the government look at this entire sector as something that is of critical importance to the government?
All right, thank you. I need to look at this, in a more detail, and I need to get some more data from you. But I'll be happy to help you to see what we can do to really address this issue once and for all. Because again, the system integrates all the existing system from various ministries, from different ministries at the central level and also at the local level, where some local government, they have, pretty much similar systems, and some of them we can connect and integrate easily, but some of them, takes a lot of time to really, match and complement each other. So I'll be happy to talk to you, in detail after this forum. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That will be the end of our question and answer session. But if you have any more questions, please send it to the email with address asdp.kpaii@kemenperin.go.id. Ladies and gentlemen, now we're entering the one-on-one meeting session. This session will be a great opportunity to interact directly with your choice of company that we have today for any further question and clarification. Please allow me to explain it first before we start the one-on-one meeting session. Every Indonesian companies will host one virtual room or breakout room. This will include, first, PT Akebono Break Astra Indonesia, the second, PT Garuda Metalindo, and the third one, PT Astra Component Indonesia, to entering the breakout room. And to every United Arab Emirates companies or other participant may join their desired companies that is available above, provided by clicking on the breakout room icon or symbol under the main screen. The one-on-one meeting time allocation will be approximately 1 hour. Again, this session is a great opportunity to interact directly with your choice of company that we have today for any further question and clarification. The one-on-one meeting, please begin. meeting has officially ended. And this is the end of Indonesia Business Forum program for today. Thank you to the audience that have participated actively. We hope that these forums, especially the one-on-one meeting, will mark the beginning of another business and industrial cooperation within Indonesia and the UAE entrepreneurs. Thank you for all honorable speakers and all distinguished guests. We wish you all the best for your future endeavor, and we'll see you on another time. Ladies and gentlemen, for tomorrow's event, we'll have a SMIs Build the Nation that will be talking mostly for fashions and food and beverage industrial sectors. My name is Irene. I hope you have a great event and session today, and we'll see you for another time. Have a good day.
A place with abundant and rich natural resources. A nation where you can find even richer and diverse cultures. Indonesia is a nation with enormous potential. Bound to be the top 10 biggest economies in the world. Indonesia has grown to be one of the most desired investment destinations in the world. Populated with hardworking, talented and young people, Indonesia is filled with educated and productive workforce. In order to sustain that productivity, the government has provided free COVID-19 vaccines for every single citizen. As our productive society has sparked the rapid growth in manufacturing and industrial advancement, we dedicated ourselves to improve even more by doing constant research and development while simultaneously building adequate infrastructure in order to reach the full potential of Industry 4.0 technology in every sector of industry. Our government realized that we need to build collaboration across nations in order to grow even more. That's why we have prepared many optimized, investor-friendly regulations and policies, opening the gate for every potential investment, creating a better investment climate, and at the same time striving for the post-pandemic economic recovery. All of these efforts are parts of roadmap Making Indonesia 4.0, a blueprint to bring this nation fully embrace the fourth industrial revolution era, transforming Indonesia into one of the best places in the world for building a better future. Indonesia for Dubai Expo 2021, creating the future from Indonesia to the world.
The strong synergy between humans and technological advancements is the foundation to Indonesia's rapid growth in manufacturing and industrial progression. Embodied inside smart industrial parks in the form of manufacturing automation, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and digital ecosystem. While the government provides many decent and integrated infrastructures, proving that Indonesia is ready for the fourth industrial revolution. With predicted demographic bonus in 2030 to 2040 will make the population in Indonesia dominated by talented, young, and productive workforce. These adept workforce are ready to accelerate from small to global scale companies toward the sustainable and efficient future. Focusing on the 7 priority sectors, Indonesia is fully dedicated in building an innovative nation of industry. By establishing platforms for research and development centers designed as integrated facilities, empowering every industrial key player and technical provider through innovative technology, and re-optimizing investor-friendly regulations and policies nationwide, as part of the roadmap Making Indonesia 4.0. All of this were made in order to cement Indonesia's position as one of the leading nations in the fourth industrial revolution. Indonesia for Dubai Expo 2021, creating the future from Indonesia to the world.
Throughout history, Indonesia has always been building collaborations across the world. Furthermore, in this modern world era, Indonesia is regarded as one of the major partners in the world economy. Expected to be in the top 10's world's leading economy, Indonesia has so many things to offer. From its